What's going on, Planet S.O.N family? It's your main man, JD. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button for me. This is Drinks with JD.
Like, were they pushing you? Like, go ahead, Megan?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. My family, when I decided that I was going to major in radio, television, and film at
Yes.
college, my family knew that that's like what I've always wanted. I was always super outgoing and,
Yes.
like I said, just always involved myself in, get picked to sing the national anthem
That's
at school.
awesome. That's
or,
amazing.
Like I said, the dancing and the performing, and
Yes.
it was just like, oh, who's going to be up on stage, or who's going to be the one presenting or
Yeah,
talking?
yeah.
It's Megan.
That's
So it was
Megan,
like,
that's Megan.
yeah.
That's
So it
amazing.
was just very natural. And my mom was always very encouraging of like, do what you want to do.
Yes.
It wasn't like you had to be a doctor growing up or something. It was always like gave everybody the freedom.
That's amazing. Okay, that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. So let's talk education, right? Right
Yeah.
now, how you were just mentioning it. I read in your bio that you graduated with a degree in communications, but magna cum laude, right? I love highlighting people's academic achievement, right? When it comes to, let's say, having a high GPA or having a student really dedicate themselves, it translates into them being, I guess you could say, more dedicated, more motivated to achieve things outside of school, right?
Yeah.
Can you, well, as someone who has been dedicated, and obviously it's shown through your education and through things that you have achieved, what pushes you to strive to, let's say on the education side, I guess first. What pushed you to strive to attain a high GPA?
Yeah, I mean, it was very personally motivated. Again, by the time my mom got to me, it was like, you're on your own,
Yes.
kid, type
Yes.
of thing. So being the youngest of 6 kids, you're just sort of fending for yourself and,
That's right.
making lunches for yourself at, 6 years, 7 years old.
Yes.
But so I was always personally motivated to do my homework and very detail oriented to, get good grades. I did used to stress myself out over things, and that's sort of one of my downfalls, I could say, is like I do sort of get tedious about things and like want to make sure everything's, good to go. And so, yeah, but just always had that in me of just wanting to, do a good job. But I could have said, maybe I could even have been higher, but there was always that little wild child going on.
Of course. That's
in me
humbly
too.
speaking, because
Yeah.
I mean, look at how awesome you are. We're like, there's a summa cum laude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
So
we know
I'm
that.
like, I could have done better, but there were certainly times where,
Megan, you're amazing. Okay, just
Thank
know
you.
that. Just
Thank
know that
you.
you're amazing.
Yeah, I did it. So
Yeah.
at least I was
That's
up
amazing.
in the
Of course,
top
Magna.
tier.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yep.
And congratulations for that, because like I said, for students who achieve high, or who try to strive to get that high GPA, they also, like I said, translates to what they do outside of school. So,
Right.
Yeah. And well, since I've been knowing you, you're amazing. So
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm always striving for
Yeah,
something new.
for
I
sure,
can't
for sure.
stay still.
yeah,
so.
and people who know you, they know that about you.
Yeah.
So earlier you're mentioning TRL, right? And I read in your bio that, you got hired with TRL. Can you share on how you got hired, and also just maybe a cool experience that you experienced while working there?
Yeah, so it started out as more of an internship where, I was with a group of kids that got, hired for the summer to intern with MTV. And so they sort of place you in different projects. They have award shows going on, they have, ongoing video countdown shows, different productions, at MTV that, everyone gets assigned to because they need help. Well, I did well, and people took notice, so I was able to sort of like work my way up in a short time to get to like obviously the best show that everybody wanted to be on.
Of course, I mean, it's TRL.
So my skills were really put to the test in this because again, me just being a people person and just being able to talk to anybody.
Yes.
My role was mostly like sort of getting that crowd excited and
so
asking
cool.
people off the street like, hey, would you come on today? And like,
I always wanted to
wave
be
this
one of those people.
sign
Yeah.
and, you know, we're going to play this game. It's going to be really fun. Like, you should just come on the show. And people would be like, all right,
Yeah.
you know, and then they would like sign up and then they would meet us and we'd help bring them up to the studio
That's
and
so cool.
prep them and, you know, get them going. So yeah, that was really more of like what my role would, you know, be there, of just sort of prepping for those sketches and getting like audience members and people involved.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you share a cool experience? Like something that like that awed you or wowed you while you were there?
Yeah, I mean,
Or
there were
meeting
some
somebody?
good people. You know, it's when you work in that type of industry, you are not allowed to speak to the talent,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
the
yes.
celebrities. If
Yes.
I was obviously like the actual casting director
Yes.
or, you know, maybe somebody that had a real role, they, you know, get a little bit more rubbing shoulders and things like that. But no, you have to stay clear. You're professional, as you know. You work
Yes,
in
of course,
production.
of course.
You just gotta, you know, stay on task.
Yeah.
But I remember Mariah Carey
Wow.
came in one time,
Wow.
and you know, she was like throwing out ice cream
Yeah.
to everybody, and like
Yeah.
it was just like, oh, this is so cool. You know, this is just like, it was just every day. It was like Blink-182, and
Yes.
you know, just like different people. Because now I'm dating myself back, but they
Yeah.
are coming back. So
There you go. Yeah, you're right. The new album's coming. Yeah, you're right.
Yes, yes.
Well, I guess I gotta throw this out there. Did you ever meet Hanson during that time?
Oh my gosh, no, I have
okay,
never,
okay.
not during my days at
Yeah,
TRL,
okay.
but, or, you know, interning, things like that, but
Yeah.
I've met them in little ways,
Okay,
you know,
okay.
throughout many experiences. So it was like multiple times.
Okay. But at least you got to meet him. All
Yes.
right, so there you go.
Yeah. No, my family will tell you that
Yeah.
they knew me.
Fair enough.
And my friends, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So, after achieving so much, right,
Mm-hmm.
and at such a young age, where did the idea for Tower Talent come from?
Yeah, well, actually, it dates back to a franchise called John Robert Powers, if you've ever heard of it. Believe it or not, that was the oldest and running modeling agency. Started in 1932 by John Robert Powers himself. And, you know, all the greats trained there. That was when, you know, the old-fashioned women were walking with books on their heads and,
wow.
you know, learning how to pencil in their eyebrows and all of that, you know, those social graces back in the day. And then it evolved into really more of a marketing company for people who started to get involved in the acting and entertainment industry. Well, many years later, it was after college. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with my life? I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this and I want to do that. And then I actually broke my arm in a snowboarding accident.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was sort of tired of commuting into Manhattan, and I was like, okay, I always knew I wanted to move out to San Diego. So I was sort of like in this transitional period of my life.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I applied to this ad, because back in the day we didn't have, you know, Craigslist or Indeed or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was literally like this little ad in
Yeah.
a newspaper, and it said like, you know, looking for a fashionable, you know, person to, you know, be a part of our something for the entertainment. And I was like, oh, this sounds like me, you know? So I called, and anyway, it was John Robert Powers. I had never heard of them before. And when they saw my resume and met me, this was the Long Island branch, they were like, oh, wow, like you'd be so great for so many things that we do. And so I got started. I'm like, well, it can't hurt because I'm injured. I'm like, I'll just start this and see where it takes me, you know? And then, as I mentioned, I just kind of like learned the ropes really quick. I learned all the avenues of the business, and it was all about scouting talent. One of the biggest things that I think we're underestimated for, as far as what I'm doing, is I'm a really good person at convincing you to want to achieve your dream, and convincing parents that this is the step that they should take. So sort of learning and getting experience and doing that, and then placing the talent and helping them get agents and introducing them to people, and just all of it wrapped up into one. I just stuck with it ever since. I moved out here, then I started working for the John Robert Powers out here, and then when the 2008 crash happened, the studio was about to close, and I was like, well, what do I need to do to get a hold of it? and we put a deal together, and
Wow.
I took it over.
Wow.
And it was a huge operation at the time, and then a couple years later, I rebranded it.
Yes.
Which
To
was
Tower Talent.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
Tower Talent, which was actually in conjunction with our Long Island, New York location,
yes.
because I did the same thing. The owner was about to give up my old location
Wow.
where I started.
Yes, yes.
He was going to give it up. He sort of was on his next chapter in life,
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, let's do it again.
Yeah.
So then I took over a second John Robert Powers, but then we rebranded to Tower Talent
That's what I'm
right
talking
around
about.
that time.
Wow.
So I was an old franchise owner,
Yes.
but now we have our own company and shaped it the way that we wanted,
Yeah.
to shape it, and took all the good and learned from the bad.
Yeah, it just
and-
became your baby.
Yeah, exactly, and just really shaped it into Tower Talent. And we've been ever since kicking, growing strong.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. No, I know. I'm a witness to that because I'm also, like I mentioned, I'm a Tower Talent alumni, and I'm just I'm happy that I was able to be in the classes and everything that you guys offer us. And yeah, I mean, I could literally prove that that it's amazing.
That you're comfortable on camera,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you love being who you are inside
Yeah.
and pursuing your passions.
No doubt,
So
no doubt.
it's
Okay,
great.
okay. So you know how you mentioned, you have Tower Talent Long Island, and there's also, well, obviously that's in New York, and Tower Talent Studio West, which is in San Diego. Why was it important for you to keep both locations?